Hi, welcome to session 22 of our discussion of how the Frankfurt School governance model has become the dominant governance model of the United States, despite our Constitution having been developed and written using the predecessor dominant governance model, liberalism. This may be a longer video than normal because there is a lot to talk about today. We are talking about a third tenet of the Frankfurt School governance model, rejecting religion. This is part 3 of that discussion. During our last session, we reviewed the violence associated with the religious differences identified during the Christian protest and Reformation of the 16th and 17th centuries. While the violent history of Christianity has had an effect on the number of people ascribing to this tenet of the Frankfurt School governance model, I would not want to overstate that linkage because of the time displacement and the interposing of Marxism in the 19th and the migration from classical liberalism to social liberalism in the 20th century. A more contemporary justification for the declining trend of religious activity is that people in the United States are simply rejecting organized religion, as opposed to rejecting beliefs or faith or spirituality. Now, by definition, organized religion refers to a structured system of religious beliefs, practices, and institutions following established doctrines and rituals. Organized religions typically have formal leadership hierarchies, designated places of worship, and codified teachings. Now, this is an important distinction to identify the possible causes of the general trend we see of decline in organized religious activity and people participating in that activity. Here's what I know about the trend. Pew Research has been studying this closely and reports that monthly organized religion church attendance, which is not the same as beliefs or faith or spirituality, has been steadily dropping from 54% in 2007 to 45% in 2019 and likely much lower in 2025. Similarly, those attending organized religion churches weekly has dropped from 32% in 2000 to 20% in 2025. Concurrently, over this same period, the number of respondents to the survey who have never been to an organized religion church ever in their lives has risen from 13% to 30%. That's a staggering rise. These trends are overall and not consistent from denomination to denomination. Now, what can be seen looking from denomination to denomination is a stratification that is difficult for me to understand. But it appears that Christians who are continuing to attend worship services are tending to attend more evangelical and charismatic non-denominational churches, with fewer and fewer attending services with Roman Catholic, Orthodox, and mainline Protestant denominations. Determining the cause for this trend is difficult. My top 4 possible reasons for the general decline in organized religious attendance and activity, moving us in the direction of the Frankfurt School rejection of organized religion as oppressive, are: first, as we have discussed in earlier tenets, we are increasingly rejecting community. Organized religion has historically been a primary source of social networks and community. As we disengage from community, we likewise disengage from the social networks and community of organized religion. Second, the stratification and public disagreements between different religious groups makes participation in any of those groups more and more undesirable to a larger and larger number of people. The most subtle, but perhaps most important of the disagreements in this regard deals with how to read the Bible. We will talk more about this. Concurrent with and possibly related to both of the above, organized religion's difficulty adapting to social changes and scientific discoveries, compounded by contemporary acts of violence, either condoned or overlooked by organized religions, appears to have left many wondering what the benefit of organized religious activity is versus an individual's independent pursuit of spirituality and just being a good person. The hypocrisy of these two oxymoronic sets of behaviors may be, in fact, the principal reason for the general decline in Christian organized religion, church attendance, and activity in the United States. The corollary or flip side of this coin may be that this compound cause reflects that Christians who have moved to non-denominational, evangelical, organized religion activities are rejecting social change and emergent science on religious grounds. Finally, atheism has had some very strong and compelling spokespeople who have, in our more open and tolerant society since World War II, had greater opportunity to preach and organize their religion than ever before. The internet has rapidly expanded the availability of these alternative voices and organizations without censorship. And as can be seen from the 3 items above, the field for alternatives and alternative voices has never been more fertile. We will look at each of these possible causes in more detail in future sessions. Aloha.